Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm gonna start a small series or see how long it lasts, but basically going through older toys or action figures, whatever you want to call them, that I had growing up back in the day. I'm gonna start off with some Transformers because I do still have a few. And by few, I do mean about four-ish from what remains of my old collection. But, I still have other properties like Marvel that I still have. Those Marvel Universe, which was a pretty popular 3/4 inch line. I do have some other sort of 6 inch-ish toys. But with that being said, we're going to start off with Transformers. And I wanted to start off with one of my favorites that I still have, and it's still in relatively good shape when it comes to the paint apps and stuff. There's some stuff that is still wonky about them that unfortunately don't really function. But let's dive into this guy. We have our Decepticon Scorponok, I think is his name, and this is based on that first Transformers live action Transformers movie. So once we saw this character, it was one of my favorites, just the way it just popped out of the sand and went back down underneath the sand. It was pretty it must have been very traumatizing for those soldiers to experience this Decepticon.
Back to the Pentagon right away. They gotta know what we're dealing with here.
My radio's fried. I got no communication with Ariel. Whoa! Everybody quiet, settle! Whoa, mother... What the hell?
But yeah, here we have Scorponok. Like I said, the paint apps are still relatively okay on this guy. I'm not sure how well this is gonna look, but you can see the paint decal there on the legs, and then you can see some, number printings here on the arm. Still looks pretty okay for the most part. The underneath, you got some red tones under there. And then his tail here, you can see it's kind of a head itself, and then you have some more red, which here it is a little more faded because obviously you played with this and you stab a bunch of your Autobots with it. The hands and everything, the engineering behind this thing is just pretty cool, and you can see the joints are a little loose at this point, but that's kind of to be expected. But that head sculpt looks very good in my opinion. This is one of my favorite Decepticons and just figures overall that they had made back when the movie came out. In terms of articulation, you had a rotating base here for the tail, and then you had different hinges here and here. See how well that looks on camera. So you have a hinge here, a little bit of a hinge here, and another hinge up here. No swivel at the top, but good range of motion there. And you can see my one issue with this action figure. At least for me, the legs just started kind of popping off, or at least this side does. This side doesn't do it as much, or hasn't done it at all. So that's pretty good. I also never liked how this never really fully tapped in. There's like no click, so they would just kind of split there or separate whenever it felt like it. But this one can still be plugged back in and tabbed in a little bit. But yeah, that's my only issue with this figure. Again, it might have just been mine, but it was pretty new I remember, and that happened, and I was kind of devastated. I was like, no, it's broken. But moving on with our articulation, when he is in his, I guess, alt mode or scorpion mode, his legs are on ball joints, so they can go up, down, and like side to side, and they can rotate in there, as you can see, so you can display his legs in kind of a variety of ways. His arms hinge in and out. You can twist up so it can hinge up and down as well. You have this sort of bicep swivel there, and then a hinge here as well at his sort of elbow, and you get these which open up, and you can see the inside of his hands there, sort of a turret machine gun weapon, and the other side can also do it, so you can get both hands wide open. As such, his head does move up and down, and that's about it. And that's about all the range you get with this Scorpion mode. Something interesting to note with this mode, you have these sort of wheels treads, and I'm not really sure how this functioned, but if you drag them across the ground, the innards rotate and these wheels rotate, and the hands, when they're closed, are also all like interconnected to this working, so sometimes they rotate as well, as you can see there, which is just interesting. I guess it's just to recreate that sort of spinning from the claws when he goes underground, which is pretty neat. I mean, I never figured out if there's any other purpose to it other than it looks cool, and it's a toy, and so you have that feature there. Another feature you had was the stinger here, which mine never really worked pressing it down this way, but it worked pressing it up, as you can see there. With that being said, there's still a lot more to this figure than just, his simple Scorpion mode. Another transformation, and I remember this so vividly, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, because we never got to see this in the movie. He has two other robot modes, and the first one is rather simple to do. Basically, from where he currently is, I mean, with his leg there too, you're gonna need that. You can simply rotate his tail, open his claws, and there we go. And you would have to turn, his feet this way, so that you have now knee articulation. His legs go outward and forward as such, and basically these legs become his new arms. And just putting these other ones on here for now. You can see, oh, go ahead and plug in, come on, just for the video. And so you can see he has his legs and his head here, which articulates, and the stinger is very functional still. The head you can kind of hide away that way, or just leave it as it is there. But that was a sort of robot mode that you could make him transform into. Back in Scorpion mode, the other transformation that you can do with this guy, it's also very simple, and then you can start it from Scorpion mode. Basically, these extend outward, and those become his legs, and then his head can come forward, bring down his arms, and so same articulation there with the arms, and these become his legs. Raise the tail all the way up, and you have a sort of shorter standing, the legs not popping in, so it's going to be hard to stand, but these essentially still function as his legs. Let me see if I can do it. There we go. And so that's this other alt mode that you can get him into. I just thought this was so cool, as a kid, because like I said, we never saw this in the movies, so it was kind of nice to have just different options and transformations for this guy. So I think that pretty much does it. Looking at this Decepticon figure. Again, one of my favorites. I just remember getting this guy and seeing that pamphlet and the different transformations. I'm so glad I have hung on to this for a good bit now. God knows how expensive he is now, but you know, it is kind of a shame. I'm not displaying him just because I don't really have any room for him. But he's a fascinating figure. It still amazes me that the paint is this well. I mean, he's been in bins, different bins for so long, and nothing has been scratched up. I think one thing I forgot to mention was the Decepticon logo there. I don't have the greatest lighting right now, but there's the Decepticon logo, still in pretty good shape if you ask me. Let's see if we try turning this on. Oops. There it is. I think we can look at it a little bit better. But yeah, just a fun figure to have as a kid, and even now looking back at it, pretty much amazes me how well made this figure is and how well it has held up until now. Yeah, this is a bummer here, and I've been tempted to, you know, just glue it on there, but then I won't be able to get the other transformations in. So I think that mostly does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and are looking forward to more videos. Maybe you can get a sneak peek with 2 of the other Transformers I have sitting back there. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a future video.